Now we're going to do the Bechdel Test segment. So, the Bechdel Test is a measure of representation of women in film and other fiction. In Alison Bechdel's comic strip, one woman explains that she only goes to a movie if it satisfies the following requirements. The movie must have at least two women in it. Those two women must talk to each other, and they must talk to each other about something other than a man. Yes. Do you think Superman passes the Bechdel test?
No, off the top of my head, no. The only time I can recall named women speaking to each other are Kat and Lois at some point in the Daily Planet, where Kat comes to sit on her desk and speak to her. And if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about some guy not replying to her text or something like that. So no. And I can't think of a single other time two women speak to each other. Maybe Lois speaks to Mark Kent when she's on the farm, but they're definitely going to be talking about Clark. So no.
So I think halfway through the movie, I concluded that I don't like the depiction of women in this movie. So I was not expecting the movie to pass the Bechdel test. So I was watching it like a hawk, waiting for two women to talk about something other than a man. And I actually do think it passes the Bechdel test, but it's for a very trivial, ridiculous reason. And I think it's actually Hawk Girl and Lewis. So in that scene where they're gearing up to go and save Superman, basically, I think there's a very brief exchange between Hawk Girl and Lewis, and they were not directly speaking about Superman. And
What did
even
they
then, I'm not
say?
confident. I'm not confident. I think they were talking about the politics of it all. So again, it's either this movie doesn't pass, or if it does pass, it will be that exchange. But again, it's like a okay, you know.
Well, the thing about the Bechdel test is that it's supposed to be intentionally a very low bar to demonstrate just how many movies don't pass it. So if it passes it, it passes it. But the fact that I couldn't recall anything is very unfortunate for a movie that has like four or five named female characters.
Yeah, we know Engineer Lady barely speaks. Lois, her whole purpose in the movie is to serve Superman. There's Hawk Girl, she's surrounded by men all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if it fails, but I do think it passes for that particular scene.
Does Eve speak to anybody in this movie except for Jimmy and Lex Luthor? I'm
maybe
serious.
maybe a guard in the prison,
Okay.
which is a man.
Yeah, and Kat definitely doesn't speak much to any other female characters, if I'm not
No.
mistaken.
There was one other exchange between Kat and Lewis though. So there's an exchange where Lewis is watching the news and basically ignoring Kat. And again, a lot of people were ignoring Kat, so I had a big issue with that. Kat speaks to Lewis, but Lewis doesn't speak to her, so that doesn't count.
What does she speak to her about?
I think it was a man actually.
Exactly. Okay, so our conclusion is that Superman probably passes the Bechdel test.
By fluke.